Good morning, metalheads of the internet, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Metal Meltdown. Today we are talking about the latest studio album from August Burns Red entitled Death Below. This is the 10th studio album from this American metalcore crew hailing from Lancaster, Pennsylvania. They've become very well known for metalcore that is punishing, complex, well-produced, extremely catchy, extremely urgent and heartfelt. They've pretty consistently toured and released quality music, and they've had a lot of success. They've been nominated for Grammy Awards on a couple of occasions. They are also responsible for probably some of the only holiday music I can actually tolerate, through projects like Sleddon Hill, a holiday album, the Winter Wilderness EP, and a slew of non-album singles that contain metalized versions of classic Christmas carols and songs and numbers. Put very simply, August Burns Red is a quality band that has proven many a time they are capable of putting out quality music, and Death Below is absolutely no exception whatsoever. In some ways, this is one of the most urgent and introspective records that we've seen from August Burns Red, having been written in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic and dealing heavily with themes of struggle and self-preservation and a responsibility to take care of each other and the earth. There are also some more atmospheric, dare I say, cinematic elements to be found on this record, even opening on some pretty bleak and poetic spoken word with the track Premonition. There are also a slew of collaborative numbers featuring everyone from Spencer Chamberlain of Underoath fame, Jesse Leach from Killswitch Engage, Jason Richardson, formerly of Born of Osiris and Chelsea Grin, currently of All That Remains, JT Carvey from Era. But even so, I feel comfortable saying that Death Below is very much in line with what we have come to expect from August Burns Red. They're not really talked about in the same capacity as a band like Cannibal Corpse or the Black Dahlia Murder, but at this point, I think maybe we should start doing that. Because similar to Cannibal Corpse and the Black Dahlia Murder, August Burns Red are capable of cranking out more or less the same type of album every few years or so, with a few little twists, and it still feels fresh, and it's super well made, and it's super entertaining to listen to. You've got Backfire, for instance, which is loaded with snappy, crunchy, punchy, rhythmic swings and beatdowns and some melodic guitar licks that bring to mind like Lamb of God and like some classic early 2000s metalcore energy. There are also some more explosive bursts of like extreme metal and death metal energy that harken to some Arch Enemy and some In Flames from like the late 90s and early 2000s. And while I'm very much aware that what I'm describing sounds like every melodic metalcore song ever, I want to stress that Backfire never really feels like that. In fact, it spits out such a wide and dynamic variety of riffage that it ends up keeping you kind of on your toes. Then there's Ancestry, the aforementioned collab with Jesse Leach, which appropriately feels like a more technical, complex, and nuanced take on a Killswitch Engage style melodic metalcore rager. Like, there are some very emotive, spirited, clean vocals and, the kind of Gothenburg death metal worship riffage that I would expect from classic Killswitch Engage, but it's also a little bit more erratic. There are some more proggy twists and turns, some different kinds of rhythms and tempos and switches. Speaking of collabs, Reckoning, the album's closing number featuring the aforementioned Spencer Chamberlain, is honestly kind of fantastic. Now, August Burns Red have always been a little bit more progressive than some of their metalcore peers, but honestly, on Reckoning, you could argue they're on the verge of becoming a full-blown prog metal band. Like, these guys show off some seriously impressive and immersive songcraft for roughly 8 minutes, and it never feels unnecessary or overwhelming. It's consistently really interesting and rewarding, and it also features quite possibly some of the best vocals I've heard from Spencer Chamberlain on any project to date. Man just goes the fuck off. I also really like Fool's Gold and A Bear Trap, which kind of lulls you into this false sense of security before shocking you with some obscenely extreme shit. And I'm not exaggerating when I say obscenely extreme. Like, for a while, you almost get the feel that you might be listening to an instrumental interlude, as there's a lot of very mellow and intricate guitar work and keyboard work. It's a very atmospheric number. And then, all of a sudden, once you're kind of feeling comfortable, boom, just whaps you in the side of the fucking head. I mean, everything about this, from the riffage to the blast beats to Jake Lur's glass-shattering shrieks and screams, it's genuinely brutal stuff. I might lose y'all a bit with this comparison, but honest to God, I was weirdly reminded of like New Bermuda era Death Heaven. You know, like if Death Heaven got really into metalcore when they were making the New Bermuda album, who knows? Maybe it would have sounded like this. Maybe if they collabed with August Burns Red. I don't know. That's just kind of the vibe and feel I'm getting for some reason. Even though we haven't spent a ton of time talking about them, I want to say that, you know, stuff like Dark Divide, Deadbolt, Tightrope, The Abyss, all great songs as well. There's really no fat or filler to speak of whatsoever on this thing. The album doesn't overstay its welcome, clocking in at a pretty sharp 53 minutes. I guess if you wanted to nitpick, you could maybe trim a minute off here or there, but it's not really a big deal, even on some of the longer and more progressive numbers. Love the production, love the performances. Honestly, everything about this I just think is really great. I started this video feeling like I was going to land on a very enthusiastic 3.5 out of 5, but now I'm kind of feeling a 4. It might be in some ways the same old song and dance from August Burns Red, but I mean, they've been doing the same old song and dance with a whole lot more energy and passion and heart and soul than your standard metalcore crew, so I'm really not bothered. And as we've discussed, to August Burns Red's credit, they've thrown in just a few extra steps and flourishes to make that same old song and dance feel just a little bit more fresh and vibrant and sexy. I don't see any reason whatsoever as to why a longtime fan wouldn't enjoy the ever-living fuck out of this. Anyone who loves modern metalcore in general, for that matter, would probably have a blast here. Once again, solid 4 out of 5, another solid album from an extremely solid band. Check this out. And that is it for the Metal Meltdown. I'm not an expert, nor do I claim to be. So what do you think? Do you like this record? Do you not like this record? And what do you want to hear from me next? And thank you for watching. Make sure you press subscribe right here so you get updates on the Metal Meltdown fucking immediately. And as always, you have yourself a fantastic fucking day.